Hey guys, what's up? And today I'm going to talk about some sciencey stuff. I didn't write anything down, but I still got some ideas. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's little celebration. It's kind of a shock, but it happened. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then just keep going because some of you do know what I'm talking about. So all in all, we can all still have a good laugh. But anyway, that's something heck is stupid. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, just be a G, just be a G. But anyway, I got some sciencey stuff to talk about today. I didn't write anything down, but I think I can just do it like this for some of the stuff that I would better off just tell you because I'm an auto visual learner. Sometimes some things I have to visualize. Well, actually, everything is actually visualized and auditalized at the same time. So I know what to visualize and what to auditalize. And it's always both at the same time. So I gotta make sure you can visualize it. So doing an oral report today, some oral quantitative stuff. Hmm. Okay. Today I want to talk about a little pondering about the existence of our natural species. Sorry, my nephew is being really loud. He's being really loud. Let me check the volume. The existence of our natural species, not just humans, but all life on Earth. I'm just gonna just try to explain a quick examining of all life on Earth. Like the main point is to ask why, the idea, because I know why humans. I know what we are, I know what we do, I know how we feel, and I know how it works. But sometimes, maybe some people ask, why are there animals on Earth, and why do they think like they do, and why do we act the way we do and move the way we do when they are completely different, completely lower, completely different species? The same with trees, plants, and maybe other variations of people. So, anyways, the main point is to just explain the reason why animals are on Earth because I don't really have to explain the existence of grass or rocks or trees. We all know what that's for because it's Earth. We're on Earth, of course. It's there, and we all know what that's for. For nutrients, for life. It's life. They're just pure life. That's just pure life. That's trees and nature. That's nature. But animals and humans. So anyway, with let me just get to the main point right now. Animals and humans, the difference between animals and humans in the relationship. Let me try and put some headphones in because I'm getting a little flustered. I'm like really erratic right now. My vertigo feels a lot better, but it's still going on. Oh, I got another thing to talk about too. It's about relationships and sexuality and stuff. But because I'm the way I am. So plus I got some explaining to do. I guess. I want to see if this clears up my uncomfortabilities. Let me see. Can I still hear myself? Maybe. Alright. The existence of animals and humans. The difference between animals and humans to constitute our relationship and why we love them so much. Like the relationship is that animals were um animals were created. Sorry, my nephew is making this impossible. Anyway. I don't know where to start with this. I had a great idea, but someone's messing me up. But anyways, animals were, firstly, we have to say they were made first. And secondly, um, they have warmer blood flow and more hair intake and more liquefaction. And really, animals are healthier than humans because the manufacturing of animals and humans is the reason animals exist in life is they're there to provide. They're there to seek and provide. The reason for an animal's life is to not to just live like people say, but to understand and know about life. They're there to understand and to constantly learn, but already know. Their pure intuition. They communicate the pure emotion and pure pure modification. What that means is like, say a dog or a wolf or anything like that is he's just around and you meet him and first he's happy and then he's communicating, but he's not communicating with thoughts, they're communicating with feelings. So really animals don't think, they just feel. They just they just they just they just feel and um they communicate with feelings. And so instead of thinking, it's emotional congregation of the brain. Congregation is the flow of patterns and chemicals in the brain. They have brains similar to ours, maybe the same, the same species, but a different shape, just like everything else. The brain is shaped to the skull, and all animals really have a square-shaped skull cavity, but in different angles and varieties. So the square-shaped skull cavity, um, which encases the brain, means the brain is differently molded. It's more stout, more stumpy. So, and maybe the more stumpy the brain is, and the more the further away it is from the top, and the closer it is from to the bottom, caters to more thoughtful bereavement. And I think it is. I'm almost positive. And so they vibe through emotions. Example: a dog or a cat wants to communicate with you, talk to you, and say hey. What do? They don't say hey. They look at you and they blink, and they purr or they meow or they wolf. And so that you can already tell they're they feel something. So obviously it's exactly what it is. That's how animals work. And the reason they're here, the reason for life, the way they work is they they emotion they emotionalize and internalize with the natural world. They're not part of the natural world. They're not they're not naturalized or stimulized like plants or food, but they're internalized. Externalized is stuff like the sky, space, your see, parts of you are externalized. Like your the things you say outwardly are externalized. The things you see really through your eyes are externalized. So That's external. That's why they call after you after you die the external world. You're not gonna think with your brain, but really you're gonna be living through your eye pupil and eye pupils, because the thing that happens when you die, you can't see the reason for that. You can't see, you can't breathe, you can't feel anything. The reason for that is so you can still externalize. So you will be an external be an external um an external an external embodiment. You'll be an embodiment of your eyes, basically. So, and it's the same with animals. But is um internal is like seeing internal is feelings, of course, so they're part of the um in internal externalized world. And okay they they think they see it. Back to the cat or the dog. Like, you see a cat, they blink, they want to communicate with you. Firstly, they walk over to you, and then they might blink, and they might look at you for a second, and you can see the corners of their mouths turn up, and then they meow. But that's the reason they can't talk. They talk and think with feelings. So that's interesting. So that's why man's best friend is a dog, and cats are loved, and ladies love cats. Cats cure loneliness. And so yeah, that's the connection. Our emotions are the connection between our animals and the humans. And we need that connection to live on the earth, because you know why we have to have a connection with animals, and we need to move around. Basically, we don't even need to have a connection, but our connection through animals is movement, because really movement is pure emotion. Because what do you do when you move your arm? You feel, actually. I know you think something, we just have an ABC pattern for it. You think something and then you feel it. You feel like, yes, that's the right thing, and then you move it, you make your choice. That's our connection between. That's because we need to connect with the monumental species. That's what animals are called. We're called the upper species. We are the superior to animals because their position in life is to thrive the earth. Because you know what animals do? They hunt, they eat, they they breathe heat, which contributes to us. They breathe heat, and then they provide. They provide to the earth natural growing. They provide to the natural movement of life through the earth with birthing. Because if animals didn't breed, then have um we wouldn't have the extra momentum. So they're there to provide. What we're here for is to thrive. What do you mean by what I mean by thrive? Like, why are we here? Why were we created? Are we just puppets to whatever the universe? No, the point of us is to thrive. What does that mean? Just keep the earth going. Because without us, how would the earth sustain? The animals can't do that, and neither can nature. Nature can't sustain itself because it grows too rapidly. The earth will be overtaken by fires, plants, dirt, water, mud, minerals, all that would be overtaken, and the earth would be basically non-existent. So with us, with our industry and our ABC pattern, we're here to thrive, which is why we work jobs, which is why we have lives, which is why we use words, because we need to thrive and and we need to thrive and and work around, be a part of our great life. So I hope you get that. I mean, we need to be the gears. Everyone knows, what do humans do? They keep go with the flow. They go with the flow of every situation. They put things in gear. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. So yeah. So like everybody knows, our emotions are wild and ununderstandable or ununderstandable, and they're the most natural thing about us. They're the wild heat of us. And also, the earth would be nothing, because without animals, the planet would be freezing. That's how warm they are. They contribute to the entire blood flow. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then there are different forms of species of humans. There are short people, tall people, um, smart people, and less smart people. But really, let's say the connection between the only thing really to think about is the connection between normal people, so let's say normally born people, and no, and then disabled normally born people and disabled people like me. See, like, sometimes we think, why was I born this way and she was born this way? Well, the reason for that is because everyone's position, if there are gears, there needs to be a different kind of gears, different parts of the system, you know? And we're just all a part of that system. So even if a person can't move, then they still have to be alive. They have to be here to contribute to the natural visual of the world. They need to be here because they're the externalized beings. How are you going to live an external life if you don't have people like them? That's how they see things. That's how they're special, and that's how they're smart. And then there's people like me who are born basically normal with a disadvantage. What that is, that brings basically happiness to the earth, because not only could we contribute, but we can also work past things, and which brings less roadblocks for everybody else naturally. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And then there's really smart people, and they're here obviously to help the speed of the five. They're not better than anyone else. They're just a faster working gear. And then there's learning, slower learning people, and they're just the stoppers. They make things not so difficult. And then there's normal people who just make things feel normal. And that's also really important. So everything needs to be here. And of course, the natural world is the whole system around it. It's very, very special. And so yeah. And I guess the other part I'll just leave for the next video. And and what I said in the beginning was just a joke. Don't worry about it, because it's just a joke. I mean, it's kind of it's per se a joke, but don't quote me on it. Please don't get on my case. But I'm feeling really dotsy today. I usually like a flying river. You guys know how I am, but I'm having some indicational problems, if you couldn't tell. I sound like a really proper nerdy person right now. But it's part of science, and they're trying to enforce some painful inflictionary personality traits right now. Everybody can't be happy, and I don't care. Some people might be mad, but I am the way I am, and I live to be myself and to be happy and to laugh all day. So you can just call me Wiz Khalifa, my dude. But anyway, the next video is going to be about my transition, my relationship with my DS, how it worked, how I feel when it started, all that stuff, and my relationship that was with Dan, and I think we recently broke up, but because, it was, how am I going to be with him? How am I going to be with him? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit the pieces of the puzzle, but it was a really great relationship, and he just isn't what he seems. He just isn't what he seems. He's really, he is very accepting, but nice I wouldn't say. Nice I wouldn't say. Neither is Phil. And you guys need to think, don't say Phil is nice. I mean, nobody ever said that. Nobody ever said that. But don't say Dan abuses Phil when Phil is 100% mean all the time. But Dan, the thing is, don't laugh with him, pretend that he's your buddy, say we're not friends, and then laugh at every single joke. You That's so dumb, you dummy. But then don't create a gaming channel. Firstly, that just shouldn't have been there. You're too old for that. And don't lie to me. Firstly, and don't say everything is Phil's fault when it overtly isn't. And don't act like everyone should just believe you because you said it. And don't act like all this dark stuff is fun and should be messed with. And don't act like you're better because you lie and pose. And don't act like you can actually speak in public just because you you think things to make things harder for other people because you think in an assholish way. And don't treat me like I'm just something to be laughed at, or I'm just some um creative free lazy person. Like you're better than me like because you're a tool. Basically, yeah. Dan Howell, Dan is not on fire. Daniel Howell is a huge tool. And no, Phil and Dan are not together. You know why? Because obviously they don't like each other. During that whole time I was talking to him, I was like, so when are you and Phil gonna get together? When are you and Phil gonna do this? When are you and Phil gonna be an item? How are you and Phil? But that was that. But my relationship with Dan, I've known Dan my entire life. I know Dan my entire life, right? And I'm not really sure of the tracking of my birth. I'm not really sure of my whole being, my whole start. But I know Dan my whole life. We've spent all this time together, every moment together. And he's never really acted like my best friend. He just acted like like he just acted like he just wanted to be more than my best friend. He just acted like he just acted like love basically. He never acted like my friend, and he never acted like he loved me. He just acted like the emotion of love or want, if you know what I mean. And his whole thing is, well, I'm not with Phil. We're just business partners, and we just do things together. And I go, are you and Phil best friends? You know you like hanging out with Phil. But he was like, oh no, I hate every time anyone asks him, he's like, oh no, I hate that guy. That's why Phil does this. And why can I do this? Because Phil. It's always gonna be because Phil. And Phil. And so what? So really, together, both of us have to gang up on him because Phil is also just overtly dumb. But think about it. Think about it. Phil is much older than Dan. He's the mega superior to Dan. Because what is Phil really here for? Just to watch Dan. So that's just their relationship. Since Dan is an asshole, wants to be better than everybody else and wants to pose, he needs a babysitter to discipline him. Phil is basically like he has the position of a teacher. He's the equivalent of a high school teacher or disciplinarian. And he just so happens to have autism. And what am I just? I guess I'm just a friend, apparently. And the base of, and another obvious thing is, how can I be with my DS if I'm also with you. One thing I didn't want to do is duality because that's polygamy, and some people are into that. And I approve, but I'm just not that. I'm accepting of that, and that's quality, a legit thing. Nothing wrong with that, but that's just not me. And if that's not you, you just can't do it. It's impossible. And if I'm with my DS, how can I be with you? And another thing, but I can try. One thing you have to do is try with people. And another, especially if you like an outer thing. And another thing, he told a huge lie that he liked Maltesers. Actually, it's not a lie. He's probably attracted to Maltesers, food attraction. He has food attraction. And how are you going to be attracted to Maltesers and then try to be attracted to me when I'm not attracted to Maltesers? When I don't like the sound of people smacking in my ears, and it sounds horrible. It sounds horrible. It looks good if you do it at a good severity. Everyone loves the sound of a good food, a good oral thing. But but he just expected, screw my thing, it's all about me now. It's all about me. So anyway, he just smacked and smacked and smacked and smacked till he gave me vertigo. And we've been calm and communicating for about 2 years now. And within that 2 years, he smacked until I had very bad vertigo, which is still here and just now starting to get cleared up. And I'm supremely tired. And we've been talking since the beginning of us moving into the house. We've been talking, and he left me there to be on Respinon, the worst drug in the worst pharmaceutical thing in the world for different psychosis disorders. And the therapy people, I think, did something overtly wrong, an overtly wrong thing to get more work, I think, but don't quote me on that. It was just really painful and I didn't really need it. And he just knew I was suffering and didn't come get me when he could have, because the obvious thing, the point blank thing, is who are you with? And don't lie and say it's this or that. Just tell us. Don't lie to us. And I did live in London. I lived in London for a long time. Actually, I recently just moved here to America permanently because I went to school in America, but most of the time I lived in New England, in Europe. So that's just that. And his parents knew that my mom had problems, and he knew my parents' situation, but they just let it happen, and they let her just because they wanted to be fancy. So really, Dan and his parents are the same, and Dan is his parent. He's really and basically, the beginning when we first began our new relationship, because we've always been in a relationship. But in the beginning, I was like, hey, and it's not like I just was bothering him over the internet. No, I sent him out a friend request and he accepted it. And I'm like, oh, Dan accepted my friend request. And I obviously knew that's like, oh yeah, point blank, he knows who I am. And obviously I knew that already. And I was like, I should probably, because I just, the first notion was like we were related. He was my brother, and I was like, I should probably tell him about us because he probably could trace it back, and we can come spend some time together, chill out a little bit. And he was already like my best friend, so it's like, yeah, he's my brother now. And anyway, and I was also before that, I was also with a guy named Jordan Sweeto. You know Jordan Sweeto, the other YouTuber, and I was a part of MDE. And Jordan Sweeto also did an asshole thing, but everybody knows Jordan Sweeto is just a huge narcissist. He has something called Klein's, and and Dan, not Phil, Dan catered to Jordan until my whole life and everything around it and a lot of things were just in oblivion. And I think Phil is just a kind of a serious guy. That's all he is, and he's just there for discipline. But he still did something wrong because being mean is not okay. And Dan is just a tool who just wants to sit there and like play around, fake things out. Not like Phil where he actually plays, but like play around, lie, fake things, just to look like a shiny person. Because his whole thing is that he just he just wants to be one of the the respected people. And I think the reason he did this is because he thought I had no right to have a YouTube channel. He thought me, Jordan, anybody else who wasn't in that clique had no right to be in the YouTube channel because we were all had our own special talents, our own special things, our own special labels, and they didn't really have a good label. Preppy is not a good label, really. It's a label, it's cool, but no, we're not accepted. We're not good enough. So since even though he wasn't in that label, everyone knows Dan is a huge emo boy. But even though he wasn't in that label, he just decided I need to be accepted because I need to have this, because I need to have something I can be notarized for. So he just went, yep, I'm gonna lie in everybody's life. Yay! Woohoo! But anyways, so he needed to be accepted. He ran to that clique, let the clique bully him, let the clique brainwash him, and let the clique accept every meanness Phil ever put on him, which is a lot. Phil abused Dan very badly, but that's just because he wants to play around. And what do authorities when people play around? They they're mean to you, or they tell you what. They tell you what. They give you what for. It's kind of like the same with, almost like the same with Jordan, but not really. And he's also a lot older than me. So I got to take that into account too. People were telling me that, but it's not that big of an age difference, but it's not like I don't know that. But it's like I have to because not only we've known each other forever, so I can't go without it. And I can't just let England slide, but and also the obvious fact is I'm with my DS. My DS and he's with he he's with I don't know, nobody knows what he's with. But also the biggest thing is he lies about everything. The whole thing is a lie. He made a bunch of big promises and didn't keep any of them because he expects people to not be lying to him. He his thing is food, but his thing is also people. So he's basically an asexual like everyone thinks. But just like that's why Dan and Phil are asexuals, they're business partners and roommates, and they're just too old to have a gaming channel. It's just because he's a huge emo who really just expects um speciality. And so yeah. And our favorite thing to do as kids was guess what? Watch Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And everybody knows that. We were kind of famous for that. Everyone knows we were like Billy and Mandy goth kids. We were like one of the two youngest goths to ever be in the community. And the goth community is very eclectic, very talented. And he basically said, oh, since there's all these other goths, I need to do this. I need to lie and be something else because they don't deserve it because they already have a thing. So I need this, even if they were there before. It's just because they already have something. So even though it's for everyone, and it's not even a big deal, he's just like, I need my notoriety. And he's really, you know what he's supposed to be doing? Automotives. Automotives. He's supposed to be building cars because just like I'm a prodigy for science, he's a prodigy for called automotives. There was a couple of automotive prodigies at our school, and yeah. So, anyways, and he always likes to mock my video game ness, my lolliness, and my scene-ness. Because really, and it goes kind of back to the emo and scene war thing that kind of was going on, if anybody remembers that. And some people it's a meme, some people it's always a meme, some people it's a meme, but it's definitely a meme. But it was still a thing, right? And so stupid people want to just take it more seriously, and really they're just kind of nerdy people. But you know what happened with the emos? Emos won this little battle because obviously emos think more, so emos have a reason. So emos would win to seeing kids. And seeing kids was like, so whatever, we're still cooler. And so emos won, and at the time I was pretty emo, but I was still being shunned out because I wasn't emo enough or I didn't fit the exact, or people wanted to be singular, but I was really a legit emo. Think of me, think emo. But there was that, and then and then some and then people brought it back, and then emos went back. But I was like, you won already, and they went back, and they were like they went, we won again, and then they brought it back again. Then they went, we won, and then they brought it back again, and they went. Then I joined the other side, which is a scene kid, and then nothing happened, and then email became scene, which it really isn't, because they're obviously if they were different before, it can't be. So in the end, really scene wins, and because of that, because they're such problematic people, emo is taken down. Emo cannot be a group anymore. Why? They don't have any more music, and they don't have any more labels they could be. So scene is still a thing, and emo can't be a thing anymore. And scene was there back in the 80s, and if you look, scene is a Lolita. Like me, that's what I am. That's what I am, a J-goth. And that's exactly how I looked even then. But even from the beginning, I was a J-goth. But I guess I could still, so I was still emo, but really, the real legit label for me was a scene. But still, obviously, emo can be seen, and scene can be emo. It's just what you are and what you're not. So, really, and the thing with liking food, is, you can't really like food. You can't have a relationship with food. It's not in the community. I guess I can talk about this now. But it's not in the community, you guys. It's just not. I know you think some meals look sexy and you want to just eat it up, but it's not in the community. You know why? Because you have to eat it. You have to ingest it. There's no way you can get away from it unless you take a picture. But even then, you still have to eat it. And what happens? You poop it out, and that's just impossible. That can be a way for defecation, I guess. And you can still have sex with food, apparently, it turns out, because when some people put a good food in their mouth, they get a tingling feeling, and it's like it gives you a legit orgasm. It's like, when the people say it's orgasmic, it is. Some foods are orgasmic, and if you have an attraction, anything can be orgasmic, no matter how it tastes, no matter how it is. That's why that is. And I tried to do this food thing with Dan because equal or opposite attraction, but then he just forced it on me so bad and it's so painful, and I'm still trying to work through those noises because not everyone around is making those noises, which they always have. I've dealt with that my whole life, which is why I thought I could do that. But it turns out he just couldn't handle it, because really I guess he's asexual. That's his thing. That's why he's so gracious and accepting to sexuality, is because he's asexual. And also, he must have Asperger's. He obviously has Asperger's, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't even want to get checked for it. And obviously, his depression, that really isn't viable to most people, because a lot of people have depression and they take meds for it or they just deal with it. Like most kids, I bet 60% of teen youth go through depression. And do they get any medicine? No. Do they get any help? No. They get nothing but hate and shame and pain. And do medicines bring pain? Yes, they do. So he put himself through pain to get that sympathetic notoriety of his life. Because Dan was still abused, but he just slept it off. He was still emo, so he still had that. So what reason does he have to be depressed? He just wanted to look thoughtful and better. And then after that, his whole comedy routine faded. I thought Dan Howell was the most hilarious, one of the most hilarious YouTubers. I mean, not that hilarious, but still pretty hilarious, right? But then that whole thing faded completely, melted out completely, and Phil became the more funny one. And Phil does force laughs and force smiles, but it's like he smiles and laughs. He takes time to turn his head, brighten his eyes, and laugh and say, "Oh yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, yeah, I swear you're such a great guy. If I like guys, I'd probably sleep with you." I saw a bunch of that stuff. It's like, but why don't you guys? Why are you still sleeping with me, basically? And I was like, it's like, why? That makes no sense. And I had like plenty of boyfriends in high school and girlfriends, and I still had my video games and whatever else I liked. It's like, I don't need you, right? And you're not special, neither is you or Phil. But he's like, still, I have to have you and you have to be with me. And it just is, and he got that by lying. I guess our whole relationship was a lie from the beginning. So really, no more Billy and Mandy kids, no more Billy and Mandy laughs, and there is no more Billy and Mandy. And he has a PTSD too, but it's obviously reversed. It's reversed Billy and Mandy. Because that used to be his thing, but even though it's kind of a big no. And really, I don't care if Dan sees this because basically, since they're going on hiatus for the gaming channel, it's like, what are you gonna do now? You're gonna make a response, but how is that gonna hurt me? Because that's all I've ever wanted was a damn response or an answer to a question. Why are you not with anyone? That's the big question. Just answer the damn question. Jeez. Sorry, I was cussing. I thought it would sound funny, but yeah. See how outright and sharp I sound and stiff I look? That's because of the outer environment, and it's inflecting with my eyes. It's weird, but that's just something else. That's a personal problem. But anyways, if you want to know the last thing is some good news, some really good news. I think it's really cool and really fun. The the outer community would consist of stuff like objects. Here's the things you can like outer that are not people. Things that don't count is animals, obviously, because they can't get sick. And so I gotta get out of the way. No animals, and obviously these are humans, but no children, obviously. That's gross. But here are the cool things you can like at any point. And someone can be with a thing and human, but you have to just be willing to do that, and you have to know how to be down and work with it, just like any other relationship. But you can like structures, you can like objects, you can like technology, you can like Rite Aids is stuff like sticky stickers, slime, other things like that jiggle. Rite Aids, sounds, nice sounds that may make you feel tingles, but not light sounds like they're making now, not like chewing noises. It'll damage your body if you try to do that. Turns out smacking noises and mouth noises damage your body, but you can still love someone saying something, an accent, a way, or anything like that. So let's go back over this. Structures, objects, right, Rite Aids. What was the fifth thing? Sounds. And then another thing is an idea. Like some people are just with the idea of reading a book or writing. Ideas, hollow colors, and that's like everybody knows about the holosexuals. Hollow colors, dolls, like Barbie dolls, And characters like Sonic, Crash Bandicoot, all that. And then you can like metals or something called metabolics. That's stuff like pencil sharpeners, little wind up toys, stuff like that. Um, Pencil sharpeners, little wind up toys, little calculators, little stuff like that. But those could be objects, but they're still qualified as metabolics because they have a grinding thing. Oh yeah, and technology. Technology could be a thing too. So all in all, there should be 7, I think. Did I get 7? Structures is 1, objects is 2, metals is 3, metabolics is 4, ideas is 5, slime is 6, sounds is. Wait, let me start over. I can't. And I also have a math thing. I have this calculator about it. Ideas, structures, metals, dolls, characters, slime, sounds, technology, ideas. So that's 9, 8. Yeah, there should be 8. So those are the things. And I knew right from the bat, right from the bat that that I liked objects, right? I always known that. I told my parents. They thought it was interesting. They thought it was funny, and they thought it was true. But they still were like, really like, And my parents just, we have issues, but I can't really go into that. And someone, there's a really serious problem, but I think you already know that. And I'm just gonna work that out. But my parents always knew, and I've always been with my Game Boy basically because that's just we've always been together. Because the thing with me and my close friends, we all kind of shifted. Like we all kind of shifted between America and New England and whatever. But that's because we were always together. And since my DS would technically would be there, we were always together as well. So all in all, from the beginning, we were all with who we will always be with. And I was always with Dan, so we tried, but it lasted basically forever. And we did have some kids, but like and I know that sounds weird, and it's a very sensitive circumstance, but we still, that's, I don't know. Unbelieve it or not, I don't know. That's not important. But, it was basically forever, but, it didn't end up like that. And really, I guess, in a way, since he had to like something. It's not like you don't have to like something, but in the end, I knew what he really liked. He liked metabolics. He really liked stuff like pencil sharpeners. And obviously, his overt thing was a little grind 'em up pencil sharpener. That's what he liked. But he hid it away. He reversed his thing, and he hid his whole happiness and just decided to pose. Pose for the frame. And his music, he just is one of those miscellaneous people because he wants to fit wherever he wants to fit. But really, if we were together, he likes the same music as me. Asian, Japanese music, rap music, alternative music. And that's what you see, but you don't see any of the rap music, and you don't see any of the Asian music. And he doesn't really like Asian music, and there's rap and alternative. So if he doesn't like the Asian music and he lied, he really likes rap. And really, the whole end of it is the reason he wouldn't come over here is because he wanted to stick in America. So he lied and tried to seep in and grew and like grab into America. He tried to sneak into America. He tried to sneak into America, guys. Trump is gonna get him. Trump is going for him. And part of the reason, I guess, is because of him. I'm sorry to be extreme again. Once again, the extremist. But part of that, I guess, has to be because of him. Isn't that crazy? That's a big thing. Just that one whole thing was because of him. And I'm making a video. And that's extreme, but and also the reason we live we live in New England, which is close to Germany, and everybody knows there's a setup like that in Germany. And we're in this crazy thing called the Illuminati. The Illuminati. That's how we used to say it. That started when we were in kindergarten and our elementary because we went. I guess they never told us this, but I just have to accept it. We were a school for prodigies, and like so started in elementary, and this crazy thing happened in kindergarten. So like I'm not gonna tell you what it is yet, but it's a simple thing, and we have to figure it out and piece it together. And everybody knows how the Illuminati works, anyways, there's that. And where was I going? What? Angelo. Hold on. Hold on, I just tried to. Mom, can you close my door? But anyway, I don't know. I keep losing focus. I can't think of a dang thing. But I'm gonna leave here. And they recently tried to sign me up for this one-on-one independent living thing, but it just wasn't what I expected. So I think I'm gonna cut that off entirely and just do the obvious thing, is just move out, no matter how long it takes. But anyway, I'm also really tired all the time because of all the medicine and all the pressure and all the bad stuff. But that's that. I'm here to help you. I also have a signature in the army because I got into some stuff in middle school. But yeah, I got a signature with the army, so I should be safe. And really, there's that. And as for Dan, and see how Angela's screaming? He really doesn't want anyone to know because he's the block, even though he's my son. And really, all our kids go within berethment of Colette. So if there's no Dan, he's just a physical. So really, he's just one of our little baby games. But he just, I don't know. He's the rotten one, I guess. I hate to say I love him, but he's just the rotten one. And really, since I have the thing called mechanesis in this PPSD, and we're fairies, I shot him through mechanesis because I had to. I just had to. There's no way. I shot him and he was dead, and he still made all these videos in between because he decides to. They he just decides to, and they all just decide to cling. They seep and cling. I don't know. That's just the best way I can put it. Even though that might not explain it, and I don't fully understand. Huh? I fully understand it, but seep and cling. Okay, bye. Where you going? Where you going? You going to Darla and Lisa's? Darla and Lisa's. Where you going? A coastless? Oh, okay. I just thought. No, I'm not videotaping you. Nobody can see you. But nobody can see you. The door's closed. Don't open the door. It's gonna. Anyways, yeah, Stephen Kling. And so much pressure, guys. So much fun. Oh yeah, you guys can't hear it because you can't hear what's going on outside because I have to have a headphone in. But anyways, I'm just a goofus. So there's other people involved, and they'll probably eventually surface. Eventually, maybe sometime soon, in a few years. Then that'll be that. And if Dan wants to come and tell me his opinion, he can. So anyways, guys, I guess that was a great talk. I really enjoyed making this video. Goodbye. And if you want to know who my DS is in our relationship, I decided to be with my DS, who is now Jake Bateman of MDE and Your Brand New Obsession. And actually, you guys don't need to know this, but I met him in the 8th grade during summer school, and we just decided to go out on a date. And I haven't seen him for all these years, but then I saw him up on MDE, and I contacted him through Facebook, and now we're just here. And I know you can physically see him. He's physically not a DS. And he might not, and he's physically not a DS, but you know, with mechanesis in our species, that just is what it is. You know how he can be both, and I have the abilities and I have the capabilities. He's a pixie and I'm a nymph, and if you know what those two are, you understand it. Still, even with how good of a video this is, I'm still being kinda lazy. But anyways, that's my spiel. And I don't. I was gonna say something again. And anyway, if you want to see the similarities between Jake and this DS, look at it. It literally looks like Jake. And look how good it is. It's a quality DS. Quality DS. And look at those. Nice buttons and nice proprieties. But anyway, this video should help untack me from my situation, untrap me, unvisceralize me. And yeah. So goodbye, people. Sorry, Dan, I just had to do it. I had to do it to you. Sorry.